I do want to broaden out our conversation, though, take a bigger look at that macro picture. Welcome in Suzanne Porske, the founder of Phoenix Financial Group. Suzanne, great to have you on the show today. Now, you said something that I really struck me, and I would like for you to walk through it for our viewers. You said the market is no longer rewarding participation. It is rewarding positioning. So what does being positioned correctly actually mean right now with the backdrop we have?
Well, the landscape has changed so much, and I was going to wait until towards the end to really give the big explanation of women are much more involved as we're getting ready for this enormous wealth transfer to take place. We're going to be getting in this gender about 34 trillion, and I'm seeing the undertone of these women coming in that aren't going with the hype that used to be, and they're going more for the education and the understanding. And what I mean is one of my sectors I like is AI. They're not just looking at the AI, they're looking at what is supporting the AI. They're looking at the infrastructures, the cybersecurity, all that's going underneath that's holding that up, because without that grid, you can't have the success with AI. Does that make sense?
Oh, absolutely makes sense. Energy is something that we continue to have conversations about. We're doing all these build outs, but something has to power all of that. Certainly some opportunities in there. I want to go back to what you said before, though. So as you look at it from a gender-based investing perspective, you feel that we women look at the market differently, perhaps, than more predominantly male investment style of the past?
Absolutely. We are built different, and we want to understand. We don't want to be so educated that we're getting licensed and going out there into a lot of my clients. They don't want to repeat what I've said. They want to understand how the mechanics are. So that old hype that used to be floating the markets up and the excitement of it, at least my clients aren't into that. They kind of sit back and look, and then they want to know the structure of it. They want to know the recipe, so they can then make that educated decision, because I believe the women want education, because that's what's empowering us to keep stable and to match what we are wanting, which is generational wealth, which is that reliable income.
So with your clients, I'd also love to know the breakdown of male to female, if that's something that you can quantify for us. But as they're demanding more education, and then with that information, I guess discipline would come along with that, are we moving away from speculation then? Is this sort of the end of the growth at all costs narrative that we've seen on Wall Street for so long?
Marley, as this 34 trillion is what's being estimated is coming over, absolutely. I don't know a single one of my clients that thrives on speculation. I am seeing anywhere from 8 to 10 of that gender coming over, either with their spouse, because they realize that the statistics are showing and the proof is showing their health, the men's health. The women haven't been involved in the conversations, and now they're stepping up and stepping into it. They don't want to see all the hype and speculation on charts. They want to know how it's powered. They want to know the direction it's going, and they want to be heard and seen.
So as we view this shift that you're seeing among your clients, where we're favoring this educational approach and less of this chasing and this win, is some of that tied to, it seems to hurt more? The losses seem to hurt more with this volatile backdrop that we have. And also the age difference, too. I mean, if you're at a younger age in your 30s, you can sort of, the loss is a bit more palatable because you have more time. But if you're in your 60s, if you make a major loss in this volatility right now, I mean, that could change the outlook for the rest of your life. So as you're talking to your clients based on their ages, how are you talking to them about positioning for the rest of their lives?
I'm looking at their time horizon. So if, for instance, my husband, his time horizon and his family has been in the 60s. My time horizon and my family and lineage is in the 80s. So I'm structuring those portfolios to reflect that, if that makes sense. So where he might have been a lot more aggressive, and this is what I champion and say all the time, what got you to retirement will not get you as successfully through retirement, because now these women are wanting that predictability, and they're wanting the proof that these companies that their stocks are invested in are strong, reliable companies, that they're going to weather the storm. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. So what conversations should investors be having right now with their advisors that maybe they weren't having 2 or 3 years ago, because the setup is very different now?
Right. And I put this down. They need to review those risk exposures that they have, especially with that female counterpart. They need to understand their tax exposure. The really important thing that a lot of them is they need to stress test that against healthcare and what could possibly be coming up in costs. Because as we know, when we get older after 65 and on Medicare, you don't have the plans through Medicare, through the government that are going to take care of you in rehab centers and stuff like that. So that's where I'm talking to those clients. And that conversation hasn't happened in the wealth building and growing that portfolio. Now we're testing it and wanting it to do the long haul, not just for their lifetime, but for generational wealth. And that's where the women are sitting up, stepping in and saying, teach me and educate me, show me the foundation. And if you're going to suggest these stocks, and in this sector, they have some real good questions. They're not going on speculation anymore.
Well, Suzanne, I wish we had more time to talk. I really hope you'll join us again on the show so we could dive deeper into this, but we're going to have to leave it there. Suzanne Porske, the founder of Phoenix Financial Group, thank you for joining us.